And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another broadcast here of Fast Break live on iSports Radio. Your direct feed for always sports, and you're welcome to join us. On tonight's show, we'll discuss the NBA Cup, how that's going, and what can the league do to kind of spice it up a little bit because it's kind of dry right now. Plus, a lot of injuries and a lot of guys out. We'll discuss that and how some of these other teams overcome. Plus, can the Cavs win the streak continue? They're playing the Charlotte Hornets right now. We'll discuss that game in live as it progresses. We'll talk the mention out right now. Locke, what you got on mind tonight with us?
I mean, we got some good games going on today as well. I think it's been a hell of a weekend so far, especially with the Cup going on, NBA Cup as they're calling it. So I know Luka didn't play today, so we'll discuss that as well. Like they're in a tight one with OKC at the moment. But yeah, man, I'm definitely excited for tonight's show, big time.
So we're going to dive into all of that. Luka, a lot of guys showing in and out injuries, the Pelicans injury woes, and what they can bounce back and all that stuff. But we're going to do a couple commercial breaks. Word for iSports Radio, and outside of that, we're going to dive into the show. But this is Fast Break, live for iSports Radio. We'll catch you on the other side.
Hi, eSports Radio fans. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, iEsports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
And we're back. Can you hear me pretty good?
This is perfect right here. Sounds much better.
Okay. I mean, these headphones, man. I had them for a while. I mean, they work. They've been working. I was like, I don't know. We'll see about that. Probably get some new ones anyway because they've been around for a little while. But hopefully that's better. Hopefully that's better for you. Let's see. Better for the audience. Okay, cool. Okay, all right. We're good to go then. All right. Locke. Gentlemen, thank y'all for tuning in with us tonight. Lots to talk about, lots to get into on tonight's show. D-Locke, there's a lot of avenues we can go here, you know. Not the Phillies. The 76ers, they kind of still struggling. The Bucks, they're still kind of struggling. You know, the Lakers, they're vibing. LeBron's playing out his mind right now. AD's playing out his mind. You know, they found something in J.J. Redick as a coach, and Don't Connect fell gracefully to that lap. OKC still going strong. Granted, their big men have gone down for a extended period of time. So, but I kind of want to start off the NBA Cup. This is the second year they're doing it. You know, it's just there. I don't know what to say. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nothing's really changed. What your thoughts on the NBA Cup, the game so far, the courts, your vibe? What's your vibe on it this time around?
You know what? I think the courts things are pretty cool. You know what I mean? I think to see the different colors, that's something that probably does make it a little bit interesting. But also, I think with that being said, you do have an in-season tournament, which is fine. Obviously, more money is involved, but let's not forget that these matchups still impact their record overall, right?
Yeah.
You know, we talk about the cup, which is a cool thing. Like I said, it may grab more attention, but you know, it puts these teams that have these players that want to sit, you know, and not back to backs or just wait to playoffs. You actually want to have them play during the season. I think that's the main point. Also, is to get them to play. So those that just want to say, hey, well, we're just gonna sit, you know, this game. It's hard to do that when you have the NBA Cup, right? Because you know what's on the line. So it makes it a little bit more competitive. Haven't seen really too many other sports take the same approach as far as having an in-season tournament. But a lot of this I mean, to be honest with you, I think the in-season tournament itself is just trying to win a division and make the playoffs. That alone is an in-season tournament. You know, you have to. Obviously, there's more money involved. You added a few things, but hell, you know, we talk about the NFL. We talked about before. You got all these divisions, right? That they got to win a division to be able to go to the playoffs and make it there, be comfortable. So I think that alone is a in-season tournament. The NBA adding this, again, it may grab some more attention, but to me, I think at some point they'll probably skate away from it because how it's really moving. Now, obviously, like I said, seeing the courts with different colors is pretty fancy, right? We see that all the time. But for the Boston Celtics, are they really going to be interested in getting that cup, or are they going to be more focused on repeating as NBA champs? You know what I mean? So now you still have to pick and choose what's more important, especially those specific teams that got the Philadelphia 76ers who are expecting the big year, the Boston Celtics, the Los Angeles Lakers. Like, these teams have those high expectations, right? Of, doing more, being more impactful in the NBA playoffs later on. They want the NBA finals. That's what they want. So I think that, I guess the tournament is pretty decent. Like I said, it's grabbing attention. It really, I didn't really think about it too much until I actually started seeing on ESPN the app that they're calling the NBA Cup, right? So I'm like, okay, that's a little, a little different. And that's what made me think, okay, damn, we do got the in-season tournament. For a minute, I had forgot about it, So it's just now, like I said, it's good to have temporarily. But the biggest question is, how long does this last? How long do we keep this, and how impactful, how effective is it? Do we start seeing these top players continue to play throughout the season? I think one of the people that started this, taking games off was Kawhi Leonard, and we haven't seen him all year long anyway. So for me, like I said, I think my biggest question is, how long does this last?
I think when we're doing the podcast version of this show, one of the suggestions I threw out was, and sometimes you say things, you kind of go back and think, well, how will you do this? One of the things I kind of thought, like, somehow, a team gets up. If the team was a cup, you push them into the draft lottery, something like that. Something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if incentivize these teams, okay, if you win, some of y'all probably hearing this, that's kind of crazy not to do. Well, winning money's cool and all, and getting a nice cup and all that is cool. But for some of these teams, like, hey, if we can get boosted in the lottery and stuff like that, think about this coming to this draft class coming up. You got Cooper Flag, you got the two kids out in Rutgers. For example, a couple of kids not mine is slipping me, but y'all get my point. Those three kids right there, you don't want your draft odds going up. If you win this cup tournament, to get one of them, to kind of, if you're a contending team like Boston, or you're a struggling team like the Sixers, to get somebody like that into the fold for the future.
Mm-hmm.
The Atlanta Hawks, get somebody good. Maybe to prepare y'all for the next decade or so. The Pelicans, the injuries there, get somebody good in there and prepare your team. It's just, there's different things you got to think to do to kind of, make this thing interesting. The money is fine for the players, especially those guys on two ways and stuff like that. But I think, it's just like, it feels kind of dry right now. And like you mentioned, how long, this is out of Silver's baby, how long do you kind of let this sit?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how long it's going to keep this. Things resume back on Tuesday. You got the big matchup, the Cavs and Celtics. That's the big one. The Grizzlies and Nuggets, that's another big one. And I don't know if Joke is going to play because he's been out for the past couple of games due to personal issues. That's what they calling it.
I think his wife had a baby or she was due.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
I believe so.
Makes total sense now. So, the wife having a baby and how private he is, how long he's going to be out.
Mm-hmm.
and they're like a big man issues and stuff like that behind him. Thunder, Spurs, Thunder playing small ball. Wembyamba, all 7-4 of him could dominate that game. And then you got Lakers and the Jazz on Tuesday. The Lakers are rolling right now. LeBron is playing very well. I watched that game last night between them and the Pelicans. And you figure the Pelicans bench players would kind of take advantage of the Lakers, playing that game before San Antonio and take advantage of them. But the Lakers squad seemed different from last year's with JJ Redick at him, and this seems to have more rejuvenized. I don't say rejuvenized, but like more, okay, do these little things here, shake up things here, and and beat the teams we're supposed to beat. And they came back and beat the Pelicans. I mean, Brandon Ingram had a great game, but LeBron came on late. AD had a strong game. Dalton Knecht in the starting lineup, showing his worth.
Right.
So, I don't know what this. I don't know. Like, if y'all in the comments or y'all catch this on a replay, comment what y'all think what the league should do. Because I can't think of nothing. It's just like the regular season, but you kind of putting lipstick on a pig in a sense. Trying to make something pretty and it's not. I'll let y'all last word.
I mean, I think, like I said, the biggest thing for me is this cup isn't. We got to see how long it lasts. In my mind, I think, like I said, we see the coolest thing with the courts having different colors. It's kind of giving me backyard basketball or street basketball type vibe. And like I said, that's cool and all. But how long do we see this to be something that teams continue to buy into and play very competitive in? So for me, I want to see how long it does last. And it could be something that we consistently talking about, for years. But if it impacts, how these teams play during the playoffs, I think that might be something that we may see a big difference. We talked about. I don't know if people remember, but the Pacers and the Lakers were in the NBA Cup championship last year.
Yeah.
Right. And it went pretty well, but then later on in the season, we didn't see the Lakers look as like energetic. Like they looked like they were kind of peaked too early, if you will. So for me, I think that, like I said, the NBA Cup thing is cool, but it's how does it impact the teams, throughout the whole 82 game season? Because after that, we got obviously you're gonna have your competitive games. Cool, I get it. You're definitely gonna have those. But don't forget, playoffs are 7-game series. You know what I mean? So after we're talking about those 82 games, we come back and boom, now we got now we got a 7-game series. So you got that tournament going on. Then you come back and try to be competitive throughout the playoffs. And that's what we had talked about last year. Is damn, the Lakers don't look like the same team that we seen when we were talking about raising a banner for the for the in-season tournament. So not granted, the comparison of, hey, we did see what this team can be and how they look throughout the season. Can they back that up during the playoffs? Okay, that's something that you could talk about. But at the same time, I think a tournament inside of the NBA season shouldn't be something that should motivate these players to play, right? If you want to be an NBA champ, that should be your motivation regardless. But the fact that they had to add more money, to me, as a person that has a huge passion about my sport, I wasn't somebody that needed to be motivated about the money aspect. It was about winning. And those like the LeBrons, like the Giannis's, Steph Curry, they may talk about it to boost it up and sell the tournament, but that's not what their focus is, man. Like, they're about winning. You know what I'm saying? So them talking about that extra 30,000 or 45,000 or 100 grand, these cats making crazy money with different brands and different endorsements. So I think now maybe, like I said, you do have a lot of the league that's not making that kind of LeBron James money. So it does help a lot of those players. But again, I think the motivation to be the best team in the NBA should motivate teams to play hard regardless.
Yeah, we'll see, how things shake out. Right now, I think, it's just, I mean, it's just like, or, I think last year we talked about this. I think one idea we floated about this, like, besides the draft pick, maybe whoever wins the cup is guaranteed a playoff spot. I think we mentioned that.
I think it was something like that, yeah.
So, you incentivize making the playoffs, and then you kind of, I don't say these teams trying to tank, but incentivize that. Like, hey, somehow Portland Trailblazers win this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, put them out of the running of whoever, but now you get that factor right there. I don't know. There's a lot of things they can do to spice it up and put some stakes on the line on that. So, we'll see how the NBA Cup goes and how that proceeds here. It's starting back up Tuesday. But D-Locke, let's go back throughout the week and catch up on the NBA play that has happened throughout the week. Going on right now, I'm looking right now. You got the Cavs versus the Hornets without Donovan Mitchell playing due to rest for whatever reason. I don't know why, but they are up 128-114 with 16 seconds left against the Hornets. So their undefeated streak will stay alive to 15-0. I had to put up in the pre-draft before the show started, and it seems like they're going to hang on with that without Spider tonight. 24 points for Ty Jerome in the starting lineup, 25 and 12 assists for Darius Garland, 23 points and 11 rebounds for Evan Mobley for the Cavs side of things. 13 points off the bench for Jordy Niang. For the Hornets, LaMelo Ball, 31 points, 12 assists for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he just got that big old fine that was just handed out yesterday for $100K. I said, God, dog. That's gonna eat into his jewelry money. I know that.
Yeah, it is.
Brady Miller, bad shooting out for him. 15 points for him, but 6 for 20 for the field. That's bad shooting out for him. 19 points for Mikal Bridges. That's the right one, right? Miles Bridges, excuse me. So 15 points for him on that front. D-Locke, how long can this cat? I mean, I put that cash in there, but how long can this cast team stay undefeated? Because they got the new coach, Kenny Atkinson.
Right.
Bickerstaff is in Detroit now. It seems like Atkinson, kind of like the Lakers, got rid of one coach, bring another coach in, and with the same group of guys, and they seem like they're playing better. How long can these guys stay undefeated with the big game against Boston looming, like we alluded to Tuesday? How long can these guys stay undefeated?
Let me see. I'm going to look at their schedule now. All right, so they got Charlotte, obviously got Boston coming up. You know what? I make a bold statement. I have them being undefeated until December 1st.
Ooh.
And that is when they play Boston a second time. I think they sneak the game Tuesday against Boston in Boston. I think that this team is clicking so well right now. I think the rhythm is just they're clicking extremely well. Honestly, I think that Boston, they match up pretty well against Boston as well. With the guard, I definitely like what they're doing. Karis LeVert, come out there and get buckets if he needs it. So for me, I think that they can match it well. And I got to figure out how long Evan Mobley, because I know he missed it. He missed yesterday's game or Friday's game.
Let me double check that. Like with the Cavs, like guys come in and out the lineup. It's like, but they
I
don't
think he
stick
might
with
have been
people.
out. If I'm not mistaken. I think he was
Yes,
out.
against the Bulls. Yes, he was out.
Yeah. So he was out that game. So his health is something that is gonna play a part. But I mean, you got Boston. I think they beat them. They got New Orleans. They'll beat them. Toronto. I think they beat them. Atlanta. This is the one that's gonna. I think is the kicker. I think they beat Atlanta at home. Then they go to Atlanta. And I think that's the one that's 11/29, November 29th, I think. I think that's the one that is gonna trip them up. But having those back-to-back games, because Atlanta's gonna play tough, regardless of who they have. I think that they do steal those games, but now they got Boston on that 2 days later, and I think Boston gets that one. So it's a bold statement, man. Like I said, I'm looking at it. I think the TNT, in Boston too. I think that's going to be a very interesting game. But the matchup is going to show. I think that Cleveland matches up with them very well. But after having two tough games, probably hard fought games against Atlanta, I think Boston give them the first L December 1st.
And that's bold. Cleveland got to go to Boston on Tuesday for that NBA Cup matchup. So they do got to go to Boston on that one. Jason Tatum hit a game winner over Toronto the other day. Now the league has come out and say he traveled on that, but what's done is done. So what's the point, saying something? But it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But Tatum hit that game winner. Man, it's this one's gonna be tough because once you get past this one, the Pelicans, they're injured. They're like all the key guys are out. The Raptors, they're rebuild mode. So I mean, you don't expect too much of them. I mean, even though the Raptors do play hard, the Raptors do play got those young guys, R.J. Barrett, microwave quickly, Grady Dick, those long big men they have, and Jacob Patel, how you pronounce his name? He had a big game against Boston as well. So I'm in the same boat with you. Because if he can get 35 and 12 on Boston like that, what is Jared Allen and Evan Mobley going to do down low against that Boston squad?
Dominate.
And that's why I was like, damn. I was like, and I tweeted from our show account on Twitter or X, what you want to call it, and slowly migrating to Blue Sky here in a little bit. But anyways, if he can do if he can do that to the Boston, what's Evan Mobley and Jared Allen going to do? So Donovan Mitchell probably will be back in that game after his rest. The bench guys for Cleveland are playing very, very well when needed to. Ty Jerome coming in playing very strong. We know what Caris LeVert going to bring to the table.
Right.
One thing I did always kind of question about Boston was their depth. Yeah, they got those guys that been around for a while, but you feel like like y'all can upgrade those spots.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know Peyton Pritchard's I think the only one you kind of excuse is Peyton Pritchard. He's the one the only consistent one. But his other dudes, like, Luke Cornett, Jordan Wash, most of the others, like, y'all can upgrade those spots and all that if y'all need to.
Yeah.
So
you definitely need to, because I think, like you said, their rotation is not as they don't have that 7-man rotation. 7-8-man rotation is literally Peyton Pritchard and then maybe Sam Hauser on a very very good day. On a very very good day, you're going to get Sam Hauser. But again, I think if they can, maybe that's something they look into later on. I mean, I think one thing that is hurting them is Porzingis is not healthy. You get him in now; these minutes can kind of change a little bit, but they have to get that part done. But they're going to run into a team like the Cavs. And let me double check because they played. They are a team that, like you said, their roster is playing extremely well. They get these rotation guys in. I mean, Ty Jerome is coming in playing extremely well. Karis LeVert is being Karis LeVert. So, hell, even when Evan Mobley was out, Dean Wade played pretty decent for him as well too. With me. So, their rotational guys are playing pretty decent. And I think, like I said, man, this team, they match up with them again very well. Now, obviously, I think Donovan Mitchell taking that rest off is for that Tuesday game. But now you're going to have to deal with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. That is hell for most teams. And I think it's going to cause huge issues for Boston. This is where obviously they have some bigs, but their bigs cannot deal with these two guys. You know what I mean? You're at a point now where you can have Mobley at the 5 and give Jared Allen that rest if you need to, and vice versa. So, but with these two here, Darius Garland playing pretty consistent, and Donovan Mitchell, who's playing lights out. I think that they're gonna give Boston some issues. And like I said, I think that they walk away with the victory. I think a close one. I would say right now a bold overtime game. I think that Cleveland pulled that out. But, then later on, like I said, playing Atlanta back-to-back, I think Boston gets his revenge, that game.
I want to ask you something we're about to take a break here, our first break. I want to ask you on the other side, continue to talk about Cleveland, about Donovan Mitchell and his play. Is he an early front runner for the MVP? So I'll ask you that coming off and give you your thoughts on that. With them undefeated and all that stuff. So I want you to breathe on that and see what you think after on the break here. Mm-hmm. But this is Fast Break here live for IE Sports Radio. We'll catch you on the other side of this break. But like I said, is Donovan Mitchell an MVP candidate with the way the Cavs are playing? We'll talk about that on the other side of the break.
Hello, ladies and sinners. Hello, sports fans around the world. Hello, IE Sports family. This is Cale Henderson, the host of IE Vegas, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio. If you folks are interested in sports in the Vegas area, if you're wanting to have a blast for 1 hour, every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this is a show built for the Vegas sports fans, where we feature the Las Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Aces, and the University of Las Vegas, Nevada Rebels. Hopefully, fingers crossed, MLB team coming soon. Either way, if you folks are looking to have a blast for 1 hour each and every week, tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you folks are interested in Vegas sports news, go to our Twitter at SinCities_IESR, and you can speak with me, the host, Cale Henderson, at Cale_Henderson on Twitter at any time. Be happy to reply. Always want to reach out to our fans. Again, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey sports fans, are you in the market for Florida sports or just keeping up with the latest in the Panhandle? Palm Tree Sports is a dedicated audio hub to all things sports in the Sunshine State. We cover current events, big news, heavily favored opinions all across the NFL, NBA, MLB, and so much more. So come check us out every Saturday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a down south education on Florida sports and athletics. It's hosted by yours truly, Corey Pujols, and is powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, and we're back here live for Fast Break for IE Sports Radio, your direct for all that is sports. I left a little tease out there for y'all and for you, D-Locke, specifically. With the way the Cavs have been playing this year, and I think, Kenny Atkinson's in the running for Coach of the Year early on. But is the way spotted Donovan Mitchell been playing, is he the leading MVP candidate, or do you have somebody else in mind so far?
Right now, look at some of the stats that he have right now. I mean, if you look at what Donovan Mitchell is doing, he's averaging 24 a game. He's playing very well. He got his team undefeated. There's nobody else that I would put in this category except obviously one person, and that's Jason Tatum. How he started off was incredibly good, incredibly he was out trying to prove a point to why he should have played more minutes at the Olympics. I mean, this cat was doing it all. So I think that, yes, because his team is undefeated, I think that he is leading the can. I mean, he's doing it all for this team. Obviously, we're talking about the group that he have with Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. They're holding their own, they're doing their part, but he's the one that's leading this team. And I mean, he's the one that is putting this together. Remember, at some point, was it this past off season, that they were trying to talk about moving this guy or thinking about it? So I think Donovan Mitchell is the lead candidate right now. Obviously, it's early in the season we're talking about, but I think he's definitely leading candidate. I mean, you do have a few other people. Like I said, when I would say that's closest to him is Jason Tatum. I would throw a name out there too as well. I would say Karl-Anthony Towns need to be in the mix. I mean, the way that he's playing is extremely well. But for me, it's definitely Donovan Mitchell, man. I mean, you got other guys in there that we know are the top guys, but Donovan Mitchell is doing everything he can to make sure this team wins, and they continue to go on this success story that they're going. He could be in the run for being talked about as far as the MVP throughout the rest of the season.
I look at it like this. All right, he's one of my folks. You mentioned Jason Tatum. He's another one on my list. I don't know, it's hard to put Steph Curry there.
Yeah.
I think it's more like a team success, not him specifically playing. I mean, he's playing pretty well, but I think it's all overall team success. Anthony Davis, LeBron, and you got throwing LeBron in there as well. The way he's been playing, the triple-double streak ended Saturday, but still, he came in clutch when they needed him to hit 2 big 3-pointers.
Yeah,
against the Pelicans. SGA or his name's always going to be there as well. So it's just like a lot of guys, Karl-Anthony Towns, like you mentioned, I'm kind of disappointed by Anthony Edwards not taking that next leap early on like we kind of expected. I mean, it's still time. It's still early in the season, but I was like, damn, dog, I thought after the Olympics, how you came onto the playoffs, I thought you maybe off to the race, boom, off to the gate, but it really hasn't happened like that with Anthony Edwards. Giannis, stat-wise, playing great, but the team just
terrible.
So, this early on, I think he's up there. He's top 2. Anthony Davis in the conversation, like I said, maybe Steph up there as well. some people probably mention like, what about the Phoenix guys and stuff like that? Well, you could, but we'll see how this season goes. Like I said, KD's out right now. Book is playing pretty solid, but they're not making that name and stuff like that. Like you kind of hope. So we'll see how things shake out. All that stuff. De'Aaron Fox playing out his mind right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had 49 points against the Utah Jazz the other night. He's been playing pretty damn well.
Yeah.
So
Keeping killing.
there's a lot of guys early on just kind of catching fire and all that stuff, and so we'll see. But I want to ask you that question right there by Donovan Mitchell because if this team beats Boston on Tuesday, and then they, like you kind of say, if they go finish the rest of the month out undefeated,
Mm-hmm.
if y'all can bet in y'all state, I'll put a wager on it. Whoever y'all use, BetMGM, FanDuel, DraftKings, wherever. If you got some money, put a little money on Donovan Mitchell winning the NBA MVP. The way things are going.
I think also, for me to make that bold statement, for them to beat Boston, he's going to have a game. I mean, I think obviously they got the guy that they have, but I think for them to actually lead Boston with the victory, I think it's going to be on how Donovan Mitchell plays. Obviously, like I said, you got the other guys. You do have Evan Mobley carried out. They're going to get the boards. They're going to do well, but you're going to need Donovan Mitchell to strike out hot. And I think right now he's playing so well that, like you said, he has to be in that MVP talk. And to your point, I mean, I think the difference is having Giannis have, a good stats. The team is terrible, man.
Yep.
They're bad. So I mean, like, how do you know what I'm saying? You can't even put that in the same situation, with them. So, but like I said, hopefully, we'll check in by then. Hopefully, when we come back on that Sunday, that weekend, I think that Boston, I said December 1st. I think it's on Friday. I think it's a Friday game.
You talking about the second Boston meeting?
Yeah, the second one. I know it's December 1st.
I believe so.
I believe it's on. Let me double check. Actually, it's on a Sunday. So we'll be talking about it. We'll be talking about it that day. So again, like I said, hopefully we'll see what happens. But I definitely think the Cavs are going to be, and you can use this to the NBA Cup. How does it impact where they are in the NBA Cup? Like I said, the peaking too early thing is the big thing for me for a lot of these teams in the NBA Cup. Now the Cavs are jumping out hot. Can they continue this? And that's the thing. Can they continue to play like this and be ready later on in the season? Because it is a long season. So they have to go ahead and back it up. But I do like what I see so far. But Donovan Mitchell definitely is showing that he needs to be in the MVP talk.
Before we progress forward, hit that like button and share the show. If you watching us, like us, hit the like button, share the show. Sharing is caring. I don't know, we should open up with that, but better late than ever. Hit the like button, share the show. Over on YouTube, X/Twitter. Share the show if you like it. And pass the word along as well. Also, shout out to the chat. Shout out to Terry Rodriguez. Shout out to Larry B in the chat. The founder, Larry B of IE Sports Radio. Thank y'all for tuning in. Shout out to Mikey Two Guns. How you doing tonight, sir? And and of course, Mikey's a big Boston guy. Mikey said the Celtics are in the Cavs streak. So, Mike, I don't know. Are you gonna be at the game Monday? I mean, not Monday, Tuesday, Mike. Because I know that's going to be a sellout crowd, and plus NBA Cup game there as well. So for that moment, you got to be there to beat the Cavs. We saw one team in the NFL get beat. Could another one go down Tuesday and talk about the Cavs. So, well, we'll see on that front. To continue to talk about the league, going around the league real quick, D-Locke. Just going back to some scores and whatnot. Today's scores, going around the league real quick. You had the Timberwolves beat the Suns 120-117. In which a game I think Minnesota kind of needed to win. Anthony Edwards, 24 points, 35 points for Julius Randle. Probably one of his better games at the Timberwolves, because Wolves fans are kind of on his neck right now. Just kind of how bad he's been playing. Not bad, but it's just like it can be better. Rudy Gobert, 11 points, 10 rebounds for him. Nas Reed off the bench, 13 points, 15 points for Devin Ticho off the bench as well. For the Suns, 44 points for Devin Booker. We talk about Devin Booker, and he shows up 44 points today. 18 points off the bench for Grayson Allen, but not enough to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Heat lose to the Pacers 119-110. And let me ask you this about the Heat. Bam Adebayo, 24 points, 8 rebounds, 28 points for Tyler Hero, 20 points for Duncan Robinson off the bench. Mathurin had 21 points, 34 points for Miles Turner, Siakam 23 points, Tyrese Halliburton 16-13. Is it? I don't say concerning about the Heat, but is it like concerning that they had these slow starts and they catch fire later on? Because it seemed like, I know Jimmy Butler's out, but it seemed like a cycle the past 3 years. They kind of get to these slow starts. And they play well at times, but it's like other times, like, y'all can be better. It's like, is it concerning, or it's part of the course for this Heat team? Because I think they can be better than what they are. They're more sound and technical than most teams around the league, but it's like you always kind of start slow like this. What are your thoughts on the Heat so far in the season?
Right, we've seen the Heat. Start out slow a lot, right? We always see them kind of like I talked about earlier, as far as peaking at the right time. We've always see the Heat peak when they need to. Playoffs come around, they're in the tournament or the last spot, and they knocking out teams that shouldn't be there. Now they get in the playoffs, and they start doing things that they start shock some people. So for me, I think I'm expecting this from the Heat, but I'll say this: what had me worried about the Heat, and I'll say this being a Orlando Magic fan. First game of the season, which we always see every year, is the Heat and the Magic. Usually, what I'm used to is the Heat will get that victory, and then they'll probably take a couple of days off or whatever. But first game of the season, they got blew out by Orlando. So that was the only thing that had me worried. Like, damn, like, what type of team is this? Like, what they expect? Stuff like that. But I again, like I said this so early, as much as we are excited about what we see from Cleveland, and we're like, damn, okay, they're playing very well. Excuse me, they're undefeated. But it's still early, and I say the same thing for Miami, right? Miami is not clicking on all cylinders right now. But we will have this conversation January, February, March, and we'll start seeing the Heat start to put together some very good wins. They have to figure out their rotation and put things together. I think, I'm definitely seeing that they're playing Highsmith a hell of a lot more. I think Terry Rozier there. We'll see how that impacts them over having Kyle Lowry, who was there at one point. Tyler Hero is healthy, which is a big thing. now that you need to have Jimmy Butler come in, with the type of culture and attitude that he brings in. So for me, I wouldn't worry too much about the Heat just yet. I think, like I said, early in the season, they'll put things together. I'll be a hell of a lot more worried if Jimmy Butler was healthy and they were looking like this. But kind of be patient with the Heat, man. Like they get off to that slow start, and then later on in the season, they're right up there with the other Eastern teams. Now, also with this year, I think, with Milwaukee looking how they're looking, Philly is up and down. I don't know what the hell going on with them, how they're playing.
Yeah.
The only team that, like I said, really is doing something is Boston and Cleveland. So every other in Orlando's looking pretty decent, but I think with that Banchero injury, that is hurting a lot. But Wagner's playing pretty damn good right now. But again, I think Miami is still in the thick of things, man. I mean, with them, when you have a team like Milwaukee drop off like they have, I think Miami is fine. I mean, because we've seen this so many times. See, when we see Giannis in Milwaukee drop down and lose all these damn games, that's a different thing because we don't see them usually look like this. This is not the usual for Milwaukee. But we've seen Miami multiple times get off to a rough start and then start to get it going when they need it. Because again, it is a long season. So they need to be healthy at the right time. I think the biggest thing the bright spot is that Tyler Hero is playing pretty decent. Hayes Smith is in there. They're getting a little decent rotation in before they bring the boss man Jimmy Butler back.
Mikey asked the question, I just kind of discussed right there about the Heat, surprised, I thought they would start off better. Bam, come out the Olympics, and he has been scoring that well. I mean, granted, he scored well tonight, but, with this versatility, I always think, you at least got to be 19-20 each night. I mean, yeah, you're going to have some off games, stuff like that, but with him and his versatility and handling the ball, especially in the half court, I thought, right now, I mean, he's averaging 16.6 points per game. That should be at least 4 more points higher. Especially, with this size and stuff like that. And, seeing like teams like OKC, we'll talk about more in a second, but, them playing small ball and take advantage of that and stuff like that. Teams don't know how to guard big men nowadays. I thought, there'll be more advantage and stuff like that. But, so far this season, it hasn't been like that for him. And then, that entire Hero coming in playing very well. But it seemed like the other guys, hasn't really picked up that slack like we kind of hope. So, he still got the system there and stuff like that. He culture and all that stuff. But, have you seen with trends and stuff like that, how long can that last? It seemed like Philadelphia, trust the process. Well, Nerlens Noel's not there. Ben Simmons not there. Charlie Okafor's not there. Brett Brown's not there. You still got Joel Embiid, but how long do you got that?
And what do you consider? Yeah, what do you consider?
You're moving over 500 right now if you're the Sixers. So for me, to the Heat, I mean, your Orlando Magic, they're doing a great job staying afloat with Banchero out right now.
Right.
They're 8-6 right now, third in the East. And if I was them, I would do my damnedest to trying to stay there until Banchero is back and kind of really stop this real push ahead. To ask Mikey's question, I think they could be better than what they have shown. Another surprise for me, I didn't expect Cleveland to start off as hot as they did. That's another thing for me. And then I just go out west real quick. I didn't expect the Warriors to be 10-2 like this.
I agree with you there.
I didn't see it coming. I'm like, okay. We talked about it for the past couple of years about Klay Thompson. Like, maybe this is the year, maybe it's the time, maybe it's the time period that he found his groove, but it never happened. Let's be real about that. And then we talk about the 2 timeline deal. You know, James Wiseman, Moody, Kuminga. Can these guys be the future of your squad? And kind of, not put Steph in the back burner, but at times Steph can take over and be that dude. But you brought these 3 young guys, mature and stuff like that. And you brought these 3 young guys for the next 10 years or so. Now Wiseman's not there anymore. He tore his Achilles with the Pacers. Kuminga, you got him playing off the bench along with Moody. But one of the better defensive teams in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Steph Curry playing very well. They brought in Buddy Hield, Kyle Anderson. But this team, it's kind of this stated. Like, they surprised me. I was like, damn.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm with you with that because I was looking at it like, not the fact that Klay Thompson left, that they were going to just be terrible. I just thought that this team, after what we seen last year, I was definitely expecting this team to just, kind of be at the bottom of the barrel, but they're showing different. And I think one of the biggest thing is, I think there's 2 things that they have that is showing us why they are still very good right now, which we should have known. But they have one, Steve Kerr. They still got a hell of a coach, and they got Steph Curry. Basically in football terms, they still have Tom Brady and Bill Belichick in a sense. So even though you're missing some pieces and moving around, the Warriors made adjustments, right? They knew they had the big 3. Klay Thompson was the guy. Splash Brothers, we've seen it for a long time. Them 2, Draymond, we've seen numerous pictures of them together winning championships. KD coming in, and they made this extreme move, got the best record ever. We've seen all of that stuff. And now they revamped their team. And who plays a huge part of that is the front office and the coach. So, again, as fans, we look at it as like, well, damn, like the team we've seen so far, they've been so good for all these years. They had a bad year. We're going to start seeing this team drop off. Steph Curry just going to be there, just getting his stats up, and this team is going to eventually be trash. Maybe the move of Draymond as well. There's so many different things that was being discussed on what we thought, but they went and picked up a hell of a piece in Buddy Hield. You got a young piece in Kuminga, a few other young pieces there that's coming in and stepping up the road. Don't forget Jordan Poole was there at a minute too.
Yeah.
So they had a hell of pieces. It's just the fact that the front office and the coaching is doing a hell of a job. And for those Cowboy fans out there, y'all need to take note. Tell Jerry Jones to take note, because this is one of the issues that you guys have. No, that's another different story for a different day, but still, when you have a front office and a coach, Hall of Fame coach, a front office that's willing to bring in pieces, and you still got your Hall of Fame and Steph Curry, I mean, they're getting it done. Now, I'm not going to say that they're going to win the championship right now, but it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. And by the way, one of the younger teams you've seen in Memphis, look how they're looking.
Yeah,
So now you're starting to see how important it is to have that coach and that front office and that top player that be consistent. Because again, I'm talking about Steph Curry and Steve Kerr, and then they still got a defensive captain in Draymond. So they're set. I mean, it at first, like I said, looking at it last year, I definitely was like, damn, like I don't know if we're gonna see, that old team anymore. I'm looking at this team being trash, but they're finding a way to get it done. I mean, we're looking at what we thought Denver was going to be. The Kings were going to be a hell of a lot better. We thought the Pelicans would be better making the move that they made. You know what I'm saying? The Lakers, all of this stuff. And the Warriors slowly crept in, grabbed the Buddy Hield, knowing this is one of the better three-point shooters out there. You bring him in. Okay, you lose one of the Splash Brothers, but then you bring another guy who can probably shoot the three-point just as good. So at this point, I think this team is not – they're not bad at all. I mean, Buddy Hield is a hell of a piece with them right now, man. The way he's playing, he's doing a lot for this team. So I'm like I said, that was a big surprise. I think the biggest surprise for me is just what the hell Milwaukee's doing, man. I can't believe this team is this sorry.
I think for Milwaukee, for me, I just think we're talking about drafting and stuff like that with the Warriors. I mean, there's some guys like Pozinski, guy from the guard from Santa Clara. Like I mentioned about Moody and Kuminga and whatnot. Trace and Jackson Davis as well. Guy you got in the second round. Guy, when I did my mock draft a couple years ago, who was the first round in my eyes, but they got him in the second round. Think about this, like a lot of these guys are their draft picks. Steph Curry, Jackson Davis, Draymond Green, Kuminga, Looney, and Pozinski. A lot of those guys were drafted by them into their phone. They're still there. For the Bucks, the Chris Middleton, like we mentioned before, the Chris Middleton injury, that's the one thing that's kind of hurting them right now.
Yes.
But then I think their drafting for the past couple of years has kind of been bad. Like none of the guys they drafted has really kind of like stepped up to the plate. And now you kind of see the results of that here. Like nobody's really stepping up to the plate. And then you can say coaching all you want, but I think some of these guys ain't really been up to snuff for this team. Because now, look at this rotation they play against the Hornets. Off the bench, Portis, Connington, Trent Jr., and AJ Green for Northern Iowa. Like guys like Beachamp, Livingston, Johnson, they ain't really done much. So, I know we talk about the coaching with the Bucks. We still don't know why Adrian Griffin got let go the way he did. Mm-hmm. I know we talk about the story. About the stories about him being, I don't know, I guess too hard on him and whatever.
It was working.
But like last year, this team was like above 500.
Yeah.
And now this team right now is sitting at 4-9.
I'm about to look at some of these losses too, man, because some of these ain't no way in hell you got. Now, granted, the whole Chris Middleton thing is hurting them, right? I think he's a huge piece, but there's no way Dame and Giannis should lose to a Brooklyn team.
Yes.
A Memphis team. Not only lose, get blew out. Like, okay, Cleveland, we already know what they're doing. Okay, Boston is playing pretty well. New York is decent. But they literally lost, what is this, about 6 games in a row?
Yeah.
So, and it's to Chicago, who we don't have that too much of high expectations of. Brooklyn, Memphis, Charlotte. So some of these losses are what we think are wins for this team. So I don't know how this team. I mean, I think they obviously they're gonna come back from it. I think that Giannis is extremely too good for this team to be under 500 at the end of the season. I think they fight and claw their way back. But you talked about Boston having their rotation wasn't there as far as just having Peyton Pritchard and maybe Sam Hauser. And I'm thinking you might be having the same issue with Milwaukee. Because outside of their Giannis, Dame, Bobby Portis, Gary Trent ain't playing that well. He isn't. AJ Green isn't really doing too much. Ryan Rollins, I mean, come on, Dylan Wright. We only see him when Dame is out. So they need to get some of these pieces put together, right? This is something that they may have to put some more pieces together or make some trades. But again, to play on the opposite side, I think coaching does have to do with that. I mean, Doc Rivers, I think that he's playing a huge part in how this team is playing because, hell, when he got hired last year, we start seeing the same trend. Earlier, as soon as he got in, we start seeing the same trend. So now it's just the fact that this early in the season and to see a Dame and a Giannis on the same team and this happen, there's something is wrong. You know what I mean? We talked about it earlier. So I'm really interested to see what happens with this. But 4-9 for a Dame and Giannis team is unacceptable, man. There's no way this team should be under 500 like that.
And looking at next slate of games, tomorrow they got the Houston Rockets. So we know how tough and how young and deep they are.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got the Bulls. Okay. You could win that, and you could lose that. That's like
lost one of them already.
Lost one already. You got the Pacers at home. Could win that, could lose that. Then you got the Hornets at home. So you got 14. You got a 4-game stretch at home. That no worse. You should be coming out 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
Should be shooting for 4-0, but 3-1 at the least. And then you turn around and go to group play. You got a group play against the Pacers on 22nd. Then you got group play on the 26th against the Heat. And then you finish out the month against the lowly Wizards at home. If you got to come out at least one loss in that stretch. At least.
Yeah.
If you break 500 within that stretch of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you 500 between those 6 games, there's got to be some talk.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, D-Lock. I don't know who you can move to make this roster better. You signed Gary Trent on a cheap contract. Torian Prince on a cheap contract. I mean, Brook Lopez, you can try to trade him, but who's going to take him?
Right.
And, so much for that, Brook Lopez, you ain't using Brook Lopez right on defense. Adrian Griffin's not losing Brook Lopez right on defense. And then see how that crap is going out.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can't sell high on Middleton if you freaking try. Like you can give up a piece of steak of the damn Bucks and the Brewers, and you can't give him up. But I don't know, man. And the longer this continue, are we going to start hearing more rumors about Giannis and with his destinations and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
And we've been kind of hearing that rumors the past couple of years. And this predates Adrian Griffin coming to the fold.
Yep.
So, so we'll see about the Bucks there. But good question about Mike there about the Bucks and whatnot. But D-Lock, take our last break here. On the other side, then we'll finish out talking about the NBA. And I kind of want to talk about the college basketball game I watched the other night between Oregon and Portland, and how Portland kind of just shot themselves in the foot. I had to talk about that on that front. But this is Fast Break Live for iSports Radio. Your treat for all sports. We'll catch you on the other side.
Welcome to the 305, aka the Magic City, and this is Magic City Scoreboard. I'm your host JB, and right here we're gonna talk anything Miami, Miami Dolphins, Miami Heat, Miami Hurricanes, Marlins, Panthers, Inter Miami, and even high school football. So join me once a week right here on Magic City Scoreboard on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed to all that is sports.
What's happening, sports fans? Are you a fan of Southern California sports? Are you looking for a show hotter than a hot summer day in California? Then look no further than the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, where I talk about all things Southern California sports. That's right, all sports teams from Southern California. From the hard-hitting tackles of the NFL, to the killer crossovers and big three-pointers of the NBA and WNBA, to the grand slams of the MLB, to the bone-chilling goals of the NHL, and to the booming kicks of the MLS. The SoCal Supreme Sports Show has it all for you. Oh, and let us not forget about the college sports as well. So join me, Taryn Rodriguez, every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And we're back here to kind of wrap up the show here for Fast Break for iSports Radio. Go to read for all that is sports. I kind of want to ask you about this team here real quick. The OKC Thunder. Seems like they're going to play small ball and can't record the Shams. You know, still got Isaiah Hartenstein out. Chet Holmgren is out with the hip injury. And granted, they do play small times. But, you know, you had those big men there. Can they survive on this for a good stretch? Because Chet Holmgren will be out for a little bit. Isaiah Hartenstein, I'm looking when he's going to be back.
He ain't going to be back for a while, matter of fact.
So, yeah, they're saying, you know, he's been spotted without his hand brace and stuff like that. So he's still going to be out. But how long do you think this can last with the OKC Thunder? Like, you know, would they be okay? You know, in this modern NBA, do you think it's a big issue with them? What's your thoughts on that real quick?
I mean, I think one thing I like about this team is this is a team that has those rotational guys, the opposite of the Celtics. You know, they got the guard that can come in and play very good. I think Jalen Williams is going to have to play a hell of a lot at that center position more. But they usually guard down, meaning, you know, from point guard, shooting guard, small forward to power forward, they have all guards usually. You know what I mean? That's usually how they play with the small ball. So I think they'll be okay with that. SGA is going to have to be in the MVP talk for them to be okay. You know, we talked about it with Donovan Mitchell, but I think without Chet, they're gonna have, and the other bigs, SGA is gonna have to play lights out, which he has been so far. I think it's just that they have so many rotational guys there that they can kind of move the ball and play efficient without SGA a lot if they need to. Right now, like I said, you're looking at the game tonight, right? They got the Mavs who have Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford, and they're down by 5. You know what I mean? They're still in it with a team that has bigs. Jalen Williams right now, 25 points and 5 boards. So, like I said, I'm thinking that they should be fine. I mean, I think they should be able to get it done. SGA has to continue playing outstanding. But for me, I think that looking at this schedule that they have, I mean, they got coming up, they got the Spurs. When I always get his name hard to say, so I'm just say Victor. But looking at it, they should be pretty good. I mean, I think looking at they have Lakers to be tough. Obviously, Anthony Davis, Sabonis, Sacramento. So you got a few teams, Sengun and Houston, and Jakob with Toronto. So they have a couple of teams that they'll play that have those bigs, but they're having a good game, a hell of a game tonight, playing against a team with 2 bigs. So as long as they continue to be consistent with their core, how they put their rotation together, small ball actually works in their favor. And I think that they'll be able to do pretty well with that. But not the best team, but I think one of the better teams that they will play with all the bigs is the Dallas Mavericks with Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, and PJ Washington. You know what I mean? So they got all these guys, and they're holding on right now. Like I said, now they're down by 10, but they're playing pretty well. They've been playing pretty well so far. So I definitely think they will be able to hold on. It's just, getting your guys back. And because of how long it will be out with these players, do they make a move? Do they try to go sign or go get a big, as a temporary right now? So, but this team right now is 11-2. We talked about it last year. We seen them start to put these young pieces together, that this is going to be a scary team. We talked about it the year before as well. They have a young team and they're going to be good for a long time. They just have to continue to be consistent with it. Now, obviously, the injury bug has hit them, but I think they'll be fine.
Well, we kind of see tonight, PJ Washington having a monster game. 25 points, 16 rebounds for him, 3 for 4 for 3-point land. 23 points for Kyrie. No Luka tonight for the Mavs. The way things going down, it seemed like they didn't need him tonight. Lucky for them. 11 points, 13 rebounds for Daniel Gafford off the bench as well. 10 points as well. And Jaden Hardy, 13 points. Najee Marshall, 13. So not bad for the Mavs, not bad. You just need more consistency out of those other guys, not named Luka and Kyrie. 32 points for Shea Gildress, 25 for Jalen Williams, 18 for Lou Dort. So I think I'm with you. I think they can survive it, but can you piece up a couple of those guys and maybe get some insurance? That's my thing. You kind of need some insurance just in case. If Hartenstein or Holmgren go out again, can you have somebody on backup? All the rest of the guys, I look like they're 6'5", 6'6", and stuff like that. That's cool and fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's that's fine. You can get away that at a community college and stuff like that, or lower levels of Division I basketball. But in the NBA, and granted, yes, it's modern NBA, but still, you still need some size. Now, you see the Lakers, bitching and moaning about they need some size. They always looking just trying to add somebody.
Yeah.
So, just kind of look around okay, Alex got some size. When the Pelicans are all healthy, they got some size, except for that center spot, but they got some size.
Mm-hmm.
Spurs, no need to say there. Houston got some size. Phoenix, Sacramento. You get my point, but
yeah,
as long as they do well, stay injury free for the most part, I think they'll be just fine. In my humble opinion, it looks like they'll probably lose to the Mavs here tonight,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's not the end of the world. My humble opinion. They got the Spurs next game on Tuesday, and that's in group play. So if PJ Washington's getting like 25-16 on y'all, and we'll see if Victor Wembanyama will play. But if PJ getting stats off like that, what's Victor going to do with no Chet Holmgren there?
No Chet, yeah, he gone do what he want.
Like
But see again, I think. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like a couple weeks ago, he had like 18, like a whole bunch of blocks and stuff like that.
Right.
If he had on fantasy and stuff like that, he won't be big. Now, you saw guys, no bigger than 6'6".
Mm-hmm.
That man gonna eat.
Do what he want. I think it's gonna be on.
Go ahead.
I think it's gonna be on the other players. Like I said, I think for them to be on that, to be consistent and stay alive, is gonna be on SGA. I remember we seen this team without Chet for a while. Remember, he was playing extremely well. So I think, I think that's what you're gonna have to possibly see more of. I think that this team could be okay for a while, but again, I think bringing in somebody that's above 6'6", 6'7", they're gonna definitely need that at some point.
So, seems like they're gonna lose against the Mavs. So, not like that, not in the world on that front as well. But D-Locke, before we get out here, talk some NCAA basketball real quick. So, just going through the week of NCAA basketball real quick in the men's side of things. Right now, today, you had Tennessee beat down Austin Peay 103-68. St. John's beating down New Mexico's 85-71. You got Baylor beating down Tarleton State 69-25. Going back to Saturday's action, Duke beat down Wofford 86-35.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana beats South Carolina 87-71. Ole Miss beats Colorado State 84-69. Kansas 78-57 over Oakland, in which they celebrated Bill Self's winning record at home at Kansas and Lawrence. So congratulations to him on that front. And Creighton beat UMKC 79-56 on that side of things. And then going to Friday was kind of like a big day in this matchup. Alabama loses to Purdue 87-78, which kind of pissed me off. But anyways, and some of y'all don't know, I'm a big Alabama fan. So you see me talking about Alabama, I'm a big Alabama fan, basketball and football-wise. So, it is what it is. Florida, who Todd Golden, got some things going on, beat Florida State 87-74. So the win is still there despite his issues. Rutgers beat Monmouth 98-81, in which a lot of y'all got to get to these two names right here for Rutgers. Ace Bailey, 6'10" freshman at Chattanooga, and Dylan Harper, 6'6" guard, and the son of, I think he should be a Hall of Famer, but the son of Ron Harper, 4-time NBA champ with the Bulls. 3-time NBA champ with the Bulls, a couple times with the Lakers, excuse me. That Ron Harper, yes. That's his son playing for Rutgers. And those two guys right there, D-Locke, I know Cooper Flagg been getting a lot of hype, but I think when draft talk and all that stuff's going to get going on, those two young gentlemen right there, they're going to be up there in talks.
Mm-hmm.
So if y'all listen to this right now, don't be surprised those two young men be kind of more in the talks like, hey, Cooper ain't undisputed number one on that front, but we'll see. And I got to shout out this one kid from Monmouth, Abdul Bashir from Omaha, Nebraska. 38 points for him. I saw the highlights from him. He shot the ball very well against Rutgers, 10 for 17 for 3-point land. And you're talking about like a kid that's 6'7", 6'8", shoot the ball like that at ease. 38 points for him. I think, he put himself in a lot of radar for a lot of teams there. So we'll keep an eye on him, see how he progresses in the season. The Monmouth team is 0-4, so we'll see how the games go come conference play on that front. But D-Lock, I want to talk about this one game I watched late last night. I mean, not late last night, but this past week. And I totally forgot this team went to the Big Ten, by the way. But going back, let me try and pull it up. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. But the Oregon Ducks, they're 4-0 right now. On the 12th, they beat Portland 80-70 overtime. Now, some of y'all probably thinking like, well, the game's pretty tight back and forth. That wasn't the case. I came to this game late, and I was like, damn, Portland beating Oregon. And I thought, damn, they're going to get the upset. And they're like, damn. Because like these little things, they won't fuck up. And that's exactly what they did, D-Line. They fucked up. This one kid from Australia, I ain't trying to harp on you, dude, but Austin Rapp, young man, if you get a rebound, hang on to it and wait till the guard comes to the ball. Don't hot potato it. Don't pass it off. Hang on to it. Be strong with the ball. And also, dude, make free throws. I think this Portland team had this team D-Lock, and it's like, damn, just like the little mistakes can just swing in other teams' favor.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there watching it, man. It's like, damn, y'all had to lead in regulation, and then come overtime, y'all couldn't buy bucket. All the momentum swung in the Oregon's favor, and then I don't know if it's some of their faithful or some of their fans or alumni or whatever, they're up in their mentions on their Twitter page, giving them the business, and so much so they kind of block asses how people comment on this stuff. I was like, well, it comes with the territory. I kind of got onto them too. I'm like, damn, y'all kind of like fucking up out there. Like it comes with the territory. Like, but it's like damn, like the simple mistakes in basketball can just, swing the momentum in your team, another team's favor.
Big time. I mean, I think we know obviously but basketball has a lot of runs. It's about runs. But one mistake can really change, the game. We've seen that commercial for so long about, I don't know if you remember the kid, they were playing the game and the kid touched the ball and went out of bounds, and he said it was the other team. So he went to his coach and he was like, Coach, I touched this their ball. So we see that. And we jokingly talk about, a lot of people say, well, damn, like, why you just ain't, you know what I'm saying? But again, just something so small can be a 2 or 5 or 7 point swing. It can change a lot in a game. So I just gave that example because, again, you could be up and have a hell of everything could be going great. And all it takes is a little bit of momentum to change things. So we've seen it in many games. We've seen it in NBA final games. A lot of times when we thought the game was over and it wasn't. One of the most memorable ones I remember is the Heat versus Spurs. LeBron got the ball. That game, we thought that series was done. And I vividly remember, I forgot exactly what happened, but I vividly remember Tim Duncan. He's never showing any kind of like emotion at all. But I remember seeing him literally smack the court in anger, because of the shot that was missed, because he knows Like one thing that changes can change a whole game, the ending. And as you said, like I said, I think that, and it happens a lot in college basketball as well. A lot of times we see these teams that are on upset alert because a foul or something happens that changes the whole dynamic of the game. So for me, and that's what makes basketball interesting, is the fact, like you said, you got the game of runs, but that one thing can change everything. College basketball is so a hell of a lot more fun, I think, than NBA. A lot of times, if you go to those games, for those that do go to them or check them out, those games are literally very, very exciting to watch because, again, one thing can change the results quickly.
And then recap that against that Portland and Oregon game on the 12th. The Ducks were down 54-41 with 8 minutes left to go. And it's still, and I think I caught on around this time, and there's still like an 11-point hole with 4:46 left to play. So, like I said, they had them. They had them. It's just like, man, I caught on, like, and then they were still trying 60-57. Like, it's like, and Chris Dawson made a pair of free throws to give the Portland a 67-72 lead with 35.6 left to go. But it's kind of, they went to bed there in the last few seconds and stuff like that. It's like, come on, fellas. And like I said, like I mentioned, like the big man getting a rebound, like, hang on to that ball. When he grabbed it, Locke, he grabbed it and he passed it off so quickly that like 3 or 4 Ducks are right there between the guard. Like, no, you can't do that. Like, just hang on to it. In worst case, they're gonna foul you. So this one of those losses, you watch and you look at games to watch and stuff like that. You look around and stuff like that, and then like, damn, what are we doing here? On that front. But to move on from that, on the front of things. Like I said, Alabama got beat, so they probably dropped down the polls. Let me pull it up here. Which I think, KU would probably say on top. Connecticut will move up. Gonzaga will move up. Freaking Auburn will move up. Duke probably move up. Iowa State, Houston, Zona. A lot of teams will move up. I don't know who will move down with Alabama losing. I know Purdue will get a jump up. So I think Alabama will drop down. I think with Alabama, I think they got a deep roster, a very deep roster that Nate always got to figure out. I think that's the thing for me, just kind of watching and I don't say they're struggling early on, but it's like, got a deep roster, you got to figure them out. And I think me and another guy who I work with on occasion, I think we kind of thought that in the offseason, like, maybe they went a little too deep. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Maybe a little bit too deep. We'll see how things shake out, but you kind of think about like, you got a lot of guys here you got in.
Right.
Got Aiden Highway from Auburn, got the big man from Rutgers, that you desperately needed down low. The nice recruiting class you got coming in. Sears came back. Grant Nelson decided to come back. You got the kid from Pepperdine who can shoot the ball very well. So I'm like, maybe a little too deep. Maybe kind of has some scabs, but we'll see when the new polls come out and all that stuff on that side of things. But on that front. But D-Lock, that's been our show tonight here on the Motherland here. the WNBA draft lottery happened today with the Wings out of Dallas getting that first overall pick. Paige Beckers, the presumed top pick, probably landing there. Your thoughts on that, real quick?
I think that'd be a huge move. I think my biggest thing is we look at what has happened in the past with picks. We see what Caitlin Clark is doing, and we have high expectations for every player that goes in the draft early. So for me, I think Paige should make a big impact. But again, I think they're going to expand over time. It's going to be very interesting to see. But I'm definitely excited to see what happens with the WNBA draft. You bring in more great players. Make that league a hell of a lot more competitive.
Yeah, they won the first pick. The Sparks will be picking second, followed by the Chicago Sky, and the Mystics, who I thought maybe would won that top spot and fit, with her. They win the fourth spot. So for Mystics team that's kind of one of the worst in the league, you kind of need like some star power there. Lady Del Don kind of just went away. I think you kind of need like a Paige Beckers there, but you presumably probably be going to the Dallas Wings when the NBA draft commits next year. But this has been our show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning with us tonight. D-Locke, how can people find you on social media?
You guys can find me at Black-813. My Bucks had a week off, so it wasn't a bad weekend. So let them know they can find you at the show's page, man.
Find the show's page on Twitter/X. On that right there, you give us a like and give us a follow on there. I don't know if IE Sports Radio is going to make the move to Blue Sky, which everybody seems to be doing. So be on the lookout from there. But do follow us on there on X/Twitter. Do check out IESportsRadio.com for all your latest shows, news, and feeds. Do follow me on there on Twitter/X. And also, do follow me on Blue Sky as well. I'm on there as well. Do follow me on the Crooks Process, another show I do on the side on Instagram and Facebook. See the CP logo there. Give me a like and follow on there. Also follow me on TikTok as well at this name as well. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk to y'all next week. More NBA talk, more NBA Cup talk, and more NCAA talk. Until then, we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.